Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, analyzing the new backgrounds that Wizards of the Coast have provided us and the new mechanics that are built into them. Unlike the old days, where backgrounds just gave you a couple skill proficiencies and a nice little ribbon feature, now they grant you your ability score increases and your origin feat and some skill proficiencies and ribbon features. There's just some cool stuff in these backgrounds. Today we're talking about the Scribe background, an interesting new one that's been added to the book. It didn't exist in the old Player's Handbook. And the idea is simple. Back then, they didn't have printing presses. If you wanted a book of any kind, be it for reading purposes, for entertainment, for history keeping, libraries, governments, every book that was ever written back then was written by hand. And sure, magic exists in this game, but the simple fact is that scribing was an important job both in the real world history and in the D&D world. And so, being that kind of person, how did your life go before you started adventuring? What skills did you learn that you can kind of lean into as you move on as an adventurer? We'll get into the mechanical details of the background in just a moment, but before we do, I'd like to let you know Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter. But also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button just below the video. It's down there next to the subscribe button. I'd love to see you in the comments with your member badge. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine too. Just watching the video, liking, subscribing, all that stuff that really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm gods is just phenomenal. And I love the fact that you're here watching the video at all. So thank you for supporting me here on YouTube. So the Scribe. Let's start off with our ability scores. All backgrounds grant you 3 ability scores that you can choose from. You can take a +2 and a +1 like normal, or you can take a +1 to all 3. That's up to you. The Scribe grants you Dexterity, Intelligence, and Wisdom. A fun little hodgepodge. I mean, Dex is arguably the best stat in the game, granting you your armor class if you're in anything but heavy armor, as well as your finesse and ranged weapons, your initiative rolls, your stealth and dexterity-based skills. There's so much to love here. And then you've got 2 mental stats. Intelligence, for if you want to be that wizard or that arcane trickster, or the Wisdom, for if you want to be a lightly armored cleric, a druid, even a ranger in medium armor. This also works great for monks. It works good for Eldritch Knight fighters that also favor Dex. There's a lot of builds here. I mean, you're not going to get much if you're a barbarian, but I don't know if barbarians know how to write. You're also not going to get much if you're a charisma caster, although bards and warlocks do like their dexterity. I think there's a lot to love here, and I'm going to give this myriad of ability scores a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but there's certainly more here than not here. Like, more classes will appreciate this list than won't. As far as your origin feat goes, you get the skilled feat. And it doesn't get much simpler than that. You get 3 proficiencies, either in skills or tools of your choice. That's great. I mean, grab perception and stealth, or grab tinker tools, smith's tools, thieves' tools. Grab a combination of whatever you like. The skilled feat is a great way to flesh out a character, and since it's an origin feat, I mean, are there better choices? Sure, but you're never going to go wrong just adding more filled-in proficiency bubbles on your character sheet. I love doing it, and I think that it's well worth a 9 out of 10. As far as the skill proficiencies granted to you by the background scribe, maybe I said perception a little too soon, because you get that. You also get investigation. I think investigation is a solid intelligence-based skill, and perception is arguably the best skill in the game. A lot of people get these two mixed up, so let me clear it up real quick. Investigation is when you have seen the thing, you have identified the thing, and you're trying to understand it. This is when you are looking at a set of switches or a puzzle or a piece of text and trying to decipher the meaning behind it. Perception is the one you roll to spot something, the hidden door, the book amongst the bookshelf, the enemy hiding in the bushes, the secret lever. So investigation is not how you find things, it's how you interpret things. And perception is how you find things. Now, with that out of the way, having both of them is great. Both of them are useful skills, and I think that investigation's worth a 9 out of 10, and perception is worth a 10 out of 10. I think they're both solid. Then, your tool proficiency, calligrapher supplies. I mean, duh, you're a scribe. Writing is your thing, and calligrapher supplies let you write fancy. Normally, I'd give these things not a whole lot of ranking, because they're just for roleplay purposes, but in these rules, they are very, very handy, because with calligrapher supplies alone, you can make spell scrolls. That's powerful. You don't need the knowledge of Arcana. You don't even need to be that smart. You could be a wisdom caster and do this. The simple fact that you can use these supplies to make scrolls, which lets you stockpile spells, and yeah, it does cost gold and time, but what else are you doing with your gold and time? Probably a lot of things. I give calligrapher supplies an 8 out of 10 because that alone is worth it. You're not going to get much else out of them, but I don't think you need much else to make them worth your while. The scribe is a fun background. You know, a lot of good stats, a great feat, 2 skill proficiencies that are well worth your time, and a set of tools that are just helpful for basically any caster in the game. You're not going wrong here much. I mean, yeah, if you're not a charisma-based caster, you might not like this so much. And it does like to lean into skills and intelligence-based stuff. But honestly, that works. Even a strength-based fighter likes their wisdom and their dex to be decent. Even a charisma-based caster doesn't mind a boost to their armor class or their wisdom saves. And yeah, if you are a wizard, you're gonna love this because it's gonna boost your intelligence and your perception. It's just good all around, and I give the Scribe 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorite backgrounds in the new book, and well worth your time if you like leaning into that more intellectual side of D&D. I mean, if you're a barbarian, I wouldn't take this, but other than that, there's definitely a lot to love. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more background reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.